What's going on, y'all? My name is David. This is RVFamily.life. I am going to add an EasyStart breeze to my Dometic Blizzard NXT air conditioner today. And I'd like to invite you along to check this out because this may be the technical advice that you need to get it done for this specific model. This is the Micro Air EasyStart Breeze. It is not the latest model. Literally 2 weeks after I bought it, they just came out with one a little fancier that has Bluetooth added. The wiring will be the same, however, so whichever way you decide to go. I feel I've done this once already to my front air conditioner, so I've got a good idea of what I needed. I definitely like these needle nose pliers. These come in very handy while rerouting some wires and moving them around and making sure you have the wires in the right place. You'll want to be able to cut some wires. You have to cut some wires. I needed an 8mm socket in order to remove a few items. It could be the socket, or you could just use a crescent or a box end wrench, but those are all 8mm. Then you need a wire stripper. And to get the Blizzard NXT open, needed a Phillips head screwdriver. I actually found that I had one that the head was stripped out. So while this worked for most of them, this larger Phillips head screwdriver came in handy to actually get out that stripped out one. I ordered the EasyStart from Amazon, and it was sold by Hutch Mountain. And they also have a video, which I will reference to you. In the video that they used, they worked on a different AC, which is why I decided to do this one, because how it all got wired up was slightly different. But they include this little kit, which does not normally come with the Micro Air. This blue thing here is a sticky pad, which you need for the Blizzard NXT. And these little wire connectors are very useful. Plus there's 2 zip ties. This is the Blizzard itself. My AC is the Blizzard. This is the Micro Air EasyStart. And it has these wires right here on the end. Some are already just about pre-stripped and ready to go. And there will be a modification, I believe, to this white one right here. I'll have to cut that end off there. Let's get to it. Also, if you don't have this already, I really like getting just something cheap from Walmart. This was a $3 towel. I've grabbed several of these. I don't have to worry if they get ruined, or I could just wash them, whatever. I like to just take this up to the roof, set it down, and then put my tools on it. Sometimes I'll sit on it, just depending on how long I'm working up there. But get yourself some $3 cheap towels, especially for jobs working on the roof. All right, got everything up here. You can tell, obviously, the roof's pretty dirty. We don't have an AC here yet, but that is part of why we're doing this project. You can see that there's been some precipitation. I mean, it's hot and muggy right now, so the roof is getting wet. You can see all my shoe marks there, as I had already done this project to the front AC. Today we're working on the middle one. I'm gonna turn the AC completely off, so that's off right there. I'm going to flip breakers down. So AC1 main, gonna turn that off. And then we're gonna find the one here for the thermostat and disconnect that. I like how there's a red light that comes on. So if you ever have a fuse that's out, the red light will come on and tell you that fuse is out. And when that fuse came out, thermostat loses power. Yeah, the top for this thing looks pretty dirty, but we're not here to talk about cleanliness. There's 9 screws like this right here all the way around to remove the cover. The one in the middle and the back might be a little bit tough, as the fins kind of make it a little further in. If that's the case, I caused this bit here to stick out a little further, but then that screwdriver might also come in handy. All right, I took the lid off, put it over here upside down. I like that because it's got softer points, so you're not causing the little sharp edges to possibly risk damaging your roof. Here's what the inside looks like. The majority of our electronic stuff we're going to need is right inside here, inside the foam. The way that these are separated, your outside unit is here, your inside unit is here. I'm gonna pull this piece of foam off and we'll get to the next part. By the way, that's the compressor right there, and we will have to uncover that. If you've never uncovered these before, you're going to have quite a bit of sticky stuff sealing up holes here and here. I've had to pull these off before, so they're a little bit loose. Might be a good idea for me to seal those up a little bit better. There we go, that's with the big piece of foam removed. But we still have to get in here, so this small piece of foam also has to come out. This one had a lot of this excessive gummy looking putty right there, kind of holding the wires in place. This box will get hot, and that's why it's insulated and kept inside with what is cooling the inside to make sure that that stays cool. So you want to seal that up real good when you're done, because if that gets hot, it can have a negative impact on the overall operation. While you're here, great time to gauge how your coils are doing. These are the inside coils. These usually stay pretty clean on mine. The filters inside is what helps keep this from getting too bad. It does have some gunk in there. It has been over a year since I've cleaned it. I currently don't have enough of the spray foam to complete the task, but I need this electrical work done right now, so we're gonna get this done. We'll come back to cleaning later. If you look between the fans in there, it's a little hard to see, but it is a little bit dustier out there, especially this side, because the airflow is pushing it through that way. The back side looks fine. This side looks dirty. So I definitely want to get up here and clean the outdoor side, right? I think that's what it's called. All right, I've got two 8mm screws each side here that I want to remove. Yeah, those are screws. There's an 8mm nut right there. I'm only going to take that one off for reference to make sure we're cutting the correct wires. The compressor does feel hot, so be careful. We're going to be working with the white, the red, and the blue wire, but we're gonna work with it over here. So the goal here is to trace these bundles of wires here to make sure that we're getting the right ones from over there, because the incorrect cuts can cause big problems. So I do know this blue wire will be affected, so that's gonna get cut. And this is our red wire right here. And I just need to check which is the white wire. I'm pretty sure it's this one right here, but I will double check that before I cut it. In this Blizzard NXT air conditioner from Dometic, I found the first one. This was the hardest one to trim because it was very little wire, so you have to be extra careful. The blue wire, you got plenty of room to work with. The red wire, we don't actually have to cut the wire. We're gonna just be connecting right to there. Interesting side note, the Blizzard NXT 13,500 BTU unit and the 15,000, everything here looks pretty much the same. To be sure which one you've got, that sticker right there, I see 15,000 on the second line, just a few spots from the left. 15,000. I can also tell you from the feeling inside while we're in the hot weather in San Antonio, Texas, this one does a much better job of keeping our living room area cool, while the 13,500 unit struggles to keep up when the sun is radiating in the afternoon on my bedroom. All right, it's time to start wiring some of these through. The first thing we're gonna do is this orange wire right here is going to get connected next to the same terminal as the red wire. So you can see there's something available right there. So I've got to feed these through this hole and connect the orange one right there. If you struggle to get these through, this is where that needle nose pliers comes in handy. Grab that. And it's more than once that this comes in handy, but as you can see, it was struggling to get past a certain point there. Just having nice long needle nose pliers can help you kind of better feed things through where you want them to go. All right, orange wire connected to the same terminal as the red wire. All right, it's time for the part that makes me the most nervous, and that is cutting this white wire and being able to splice enough of it. What I did last time was I wound up feeding the part I cut back out here so that I could strip enough of it just right and then fed it back in. This is where the needle nose pliers really came in handy. So I'm gonna go ahead and work on that. I need all my hands So I'll show you the end product. Okay, maybe I'll show you all the steps. All right, I've made my cut. For the inside part, I was able to unplug it. That'll make it easier to strip the end. All right, strip the end of that, and I went ahead and unplugged it. Now I'll plug it back in. Pulled this one back through. Now I'll strip the top. Just wanted to kind of show you the advantage of why I would pull it out, just so that I'm able to get the wire stripper a better spot around that wire. All right, use my needle nose pliers, got it back through. Now I'm gonna put connectors on each end. These Wago connectors are pretty easy to use. The tops just flip open. Maybe a little bit easier with two hands. You feed your wires in through there. You'll actually be able to see the wire come down to the end right there. When you lock it down on top, it holds it tight. All right, the Wago connectors are now connected to both ends of the white wire. And now it's time for me to wire in the wires that I need from here. So now that we've got these set up, this one here is going back to the compressor over there, and I'm going to plug the brown wire in there. The brown wire is ready to go. All I need to do is pull off that jacket right there. Like so. As you can see, I'm very limited on space, so the needle nose pliers and me using both my hands is going to be very handy right here. Hey, I did it without the needle nose pliers. Brown wire locked in place. If you pull the Wagos over, you can actually see the wire in there all the way at the end. It makes a connection across the metal bar that's on the back end. Now it's time for the white wire, which means I will need to cut this end off. And that is for this specific Dometic Blizzard NXT installation. You may need this on a different version of an air conditioner. Connector removed. Now to put this inside of here in the side that plugs into this capacitor right here. All right, so brown wire is now connected into this side, which goes to the compressor. White wire is now connected into this side, which goes to the capacitor. Now it's time to work on the blue wire, along with the black wire. This one is much easier, as we've got plenty of wire to work with here. For this part, we've got a three-way Wago. So we're gonna put blue in one side, blue on the other side, and black right in the middle. All right, that spot's locked in. Now to strip that side. I went ahead and put the black wire in first. Now I'll put this blue wire in here. As I was kind of out of space, it was a little bit more of a struggle to get that last blue wire in there. But you can see the metal wire all in there, making sure you've got a good connection. That completes the wiring part. Now it's pretty much putting everything back together and then mounting this box right here. This box is gonna go on the outside of the foam, and I did forget to bring up something to clean. I've got to clean the foam because I'm going to use this blue two-sided sticky piece of tape to put on there. For those that are super technical, this is the official wiring diagram. You can also find directions and wiring diagram on Micro Air's website. They do have the specific instructions in a text form for this installation. Metal lid is secured with the two 8mm screws. Don't forget to cover your compressor back up. Make sure not to lose that plastic washer right there. And the 8mm nut. So this is where the cold air gets pushed through here. So that fan blows the cold air through and down through here into the RV. It's taking the hot air from the return air in here through there and down. That's how that all works. Front piece of styrofoam returned. Make sure to watch out for all these little grooves and get the wires in the right places here. And I've got some zip ties. I just want to put all this stuff together and then I'll kind of zip tie this stuff back together. Time for the big piece of foam. Now I moved this big piece of foam over here, but this is going to have that box taped to it for future reference. So it won't move as far. It's going to become more a part of the whole system. Once that foam is all secured, you should make a good connection here. It should be kind of hard to see where the seam is unless you're looking straight at it. I am a little worried I may have taken too much tape off around here. I might need to come back here and seal this up better, because that's going to be a loss of cold air that I would like to be inside. A little bit through there too. So I may want to get some more of that silver tape to come up here and tape that up. Before I zip tie these, I want to put this where it's going to go. And for me, that's where I put it. I'm going to use that double-sided tape and mount it right there. It's going to be different options for different air conditioners. But I want to make sure this wiring is all down in here just how we want it. And I don't want to like cause this wire, like make that all tight, because as I said, once this is taped here, when I remove this, I need the length of this wire is going to be how far I can move that foam for when I need to do maintenance actions. I just zip tied it right there, trying to keep them all together. See if I can't move some of this putty looking stuff. Ah, dirty. Whatever I can use to block this hole for right now. Oh, there's a big gob of the putty down there. It's like it fell down. There we go. Look at that. Yeah, that wasn't blocking the hole. I think it just kind of fell down right there. So just using that putty to block that hole. Because like I said, anything over here that's open, I'm losing cold air that I want inside is going to go outside. So patch that back up. All right, I'm going to go get some something I can clean this up with. I believe what I used in the first one was paper towels and some of isopropyl alcohol. I grabbed 4 paper towels and the bottle of isopropyl alcohol. I'm gonna wipe down this surface so that it's nice and clean to put the double-sided sticky tape. It would be nice if this was a flatter, smooth surface. So I did 2 rounds with the alcohol, 1 round with just the dry paper towel, and 1 paper towel, because it's hot. I like to put the blue side on here, and then we'll pull that off, and then the white side will be what applies to the foam. I don't know about y'all, but whenever I put something sticky on, I'm always pressing on it and counting to 30 seconds. Is it just me, or do you do that too? All right, I'm ready to pull this off and then apply it over there. I'm gonna use 2 hands for this. Once again, just firmly holding it in place while I count to 30. I might go to 40. Look, Ma, no hand. As you can see, I got plenty of loose wire here. That's just gonna be kind of dangling. It's got a good protective sheath on it. And then that way, whenever I need to do maintenance, this foam's gonna come off, that box is gonna come with it. We'll just kind of have the amount of room I've got, extra wire here. All right, time to put the overall shell. Oh, I just realized I forgot to trim that. Getting all the holes to line up perfectly can be a little bit tough the first time. Make sure they're all lined up all the way around before you start screwing everything down tight. I think I'll start in the back because that's where they're the most difficult to get in. Always fine to get these ones in the back properly in the right hole. I have to lay down on my side to make sure that's all lined up properly. I got it. All right, all of the screws are put back in place, all 9. We had good success. Be careful when you're putting these back in, because this is the moment where you would strip the heads out, like I have done to one of my screws from the front one. I've left it out because I need to go order another one to replace it. While you are up on the roof, make sure to do some checks of your seals. I noticed a small little hole right here. It is about time for me to work on getting this covered up. There's several different ways you may go about this. I love me some Eternabond tape. We could have all kinds of debates. Some people think it's inappropriate, other people think it's amazing. I tend to be one of the more amazing people sides. So it looks like I need to get up here and get this vent taken care of. I'm gonna go ahead and get everything off the roof. The rest of this job is going to be done inside. Thanks for your moral support there, Horsefly. And thanks for not chewing on me while I was doing my job. Before you come down, make sure you got all your tools. Put them over here close to the ladder so you don't have to keep going up and down. Well, at least not on the roof. I'm not a fan of using this ladder. I've always been a pretty big guy. But I also don't like transitioning from this ladder to the roof without someone holding it, because I tend to kick it sideways. So right now, I do not have the option of someone to help me. So I use the top part of this ladder for my transition. I'll make a couple trips for everything else, but right now we need to get the inside part of this project started. Hey, Daisy. Daisy only gets to spend time outside in the mornings because it gets so hot here in the afternoons. I need to plug my fuse back in. And turn the AC main back on. Wow, we maintained 66 in here, even though it's getting warm out. I'm gonna turn this on. Cool. Set it to 72. That's actually part of the problem right now. Uh-oh. I'm gonna have to turn it way down, because I need that compressor to kick on. And what's gonna happen is it's gonna take a while. We have to run through this cycle 5 times, because those first 5 times, the Micro Air EasyStart Breeze is learning how the whole thing works. It's electrical use, what it takes to get it started. So it's gonna take about 3 minutes. Even though this just went blue, letting me know it's turning the compressor on, it's gonna take about 3 minutes for it to start cooling. So that's why I wanted to get this started while I get tools from the top. And look who wants to go outside. I suppose you can, I'm not staying on the roof. You can come outside for a little bit, buddy. I don't think it was quite 3 minutes, but I hear it running already. Interesting. Now I need to go in and turn it back off again. All right, I'm gonna turn it back off. Off. Usually takes a moment for the compressor to kick off. There, it turned off. All right, 5 times we go through that. So that was number 1. I wanted to catch him climbing the tree, but now that the camera's on, he's like, nah. All right, it has been on and off and on and off for 5 times. I'm gonna leave it on now so we can start cooling down. All that in and out of the door obviously took it from 66 all the way up to 70 degrees. I'm gonna go turn the one back on in my bedroom. All right, that ends the technical how to install a Micro Air EasyStart Breeze into a Dometic Blizzard NXT air conditioner. The installation does not matter if it's a 13,500 or a 15,000 BTU version of the Dometic Blizzard NXT. If you just came here for that install part as well as running it through with the 5 cycles, thank you so much for watching. Now I'm going to get into a little story of why. So if you don't need the why, we appreciate you. Give us a thumbs up if this video helped you. Now, as far as why we did this RV has 2 air conditioners, a 13.5 in the front, 15,000 in the middle, and pre-wired for a 3rd air conditioner over the girls' bunk room in the back. There's a vent there, there's wiring, there's already a circuit breaker for it, it's all ready. Since we have come back to San Antonio in the middle of the summer because a family member has health issues, we're now, instead of a traveling RV family, we are currently a stationary in the hot sun family. We haven't hit 106 yet, but it is very common to be hitting 106 in July and August. I want a 3rd air conditioner up there. Now, typically what happens with these RVs with 3 ACs, they can't typically run all 3 at the same time. A lot of times what happens is the system has to cycle between them. Gives it a bit of trouble. So I was discussing the whole situation with my friend Rocky. He is a RV tech that usually cycles between Pennsylvania in the summer and Florida in the wintertime. You can check out his videos at RV Kids TV. Very helpful, awesome guy, great friend. He actually did our inspection of this RV. He said, install these EasyStarts into all 3 of the ACs, and that's going to cause it to have less of that big kick or punch or load or whatever you want to call it when it's first starting up, making it easier for it to function. So now when you put 3 ACs on here, all 3 of them should be able to function at the same time. So that is why I'm going through this process. I already have the AC in possession. It's in the family member's house in its box still. I need assistance to get it up onto the roof. But every day before I start work at 9 a.m., I have been trying to tackle one of my cool down projects. So the first one was, well, one of them was installing that micro air controller thermostat you saw inside in the living room, because we still had our original Dometic that was actually kind of messed up. We installed that. Then I did an EasyStart Breeze on the front AC. Now I've done the middle AC. We've also got some Reflectex in the box right there. We want to start with getting the girls. They don't have blackout blinds, so we're gonna do, like, that's Kaylin's bunk up there. We're gonna put some Reflectex in there, try to get it cooler in that room. But this is the overall, this is the why. We're not entirely certain how long we're gonna be here. Things are looking better for the family member that's not doing so well, but we don't wanna go plop down $1,500 in diesel money to drive back up to Maine. So even if we do kind of fall back from this current spot we're in to some Thousand Trails parks, it's still going to be hot. So we are just going to use this time to perfect our ability to cool down on a hot day. Hottest we've seen so far is 97 degrees, and it does make it tough in the afternoon, evening. On the other side of this area, this is my room and this is where I work. It's been getting up to like 78 degrees in my room. Some of you might say, hey, that's perfectly fine. I'm more comfortable about 74. We've been keeping it about 72 just to try to keep it down. At any rate, that is the story, that is the why. We will have some more videos. I'll probably do something on the Reflectex, and I definitely will do several videos. One, installing the air conditioner. We got a Dometic Fresh Jet 3, I believe it's what it's called, for the girls' room. It's a 13.5 unit. I will plan to do another EasyStart Breeze install on that one, because I'm sure it's going to have some slightly different specifics to it. And I think it's helpful to have those how-to guides for the specific unit out there. So, all right, there we go. That's the whole story. I'm sticking to it. It's almost 9 o'clock. I need to go work. Thank you so much for watching our video. We appreciate each and every one of you. I hope that you'll come back for more videos. And I hope that we'll get back to traveling someday and we can provide some more of those travel videos to you. Remember that life happens. Don't forget to stop and care for the ones you love. Stay fresh, cheese bags, and stay cool. Dang it. Thought he was gonna do it again. Come on, climb a tree, cat.